Food. Necessity for life, but so much more than that. It appeals to every sense. The smell fills a whole house. Flavors burst into existence on contact with taste buds. Sounds of sizzling or boiling fill the air. A range of colors are on display, and fingers and tongues feel the texture of each different food. But food goes beyond the senses or the need to survive and into the deeper parts of humanity. As an essential part of every culture, food contributes to every individual's identity. Even more so, combining the foods of more than one culture through food fusion is a way to bring cultures together and create a new one. While Tex-Mex is perhaps the most infamous example of food fusion in the United States, especially in the Midwest, people encounter food fusion on a more regular basis than they realize. One local example is Super Cow Win, which, at the service level, appears to be an Asian marketplace. However, Super Cow Win is nearly the definition of food fusion. The Aisle 9 sign says it all, from Japanese and Mediterranean to European and Hawaiian products. Founded by Vietnamese immigrants Tri and Kim Luong, the grocery store has continued to prosper for almost 40 years. With foods imported from over 50 countries, Super Cow Win can certainly be known as an international market and an inspiration to food fusionists everywhere. With a huge selection of spices, sauces, fresh fruits, veggies, meats, and live seafood, this marketplace attempts to bring a piece of home to anyone living in Oklahoma City. Restaurants are no strangers to food fusion either. All About Cha has locations all over Oklahoma that specialize in coffee, tea, Korean specialty drinks, and American Korean fusion food. Its menu displays more than just Korean food and drinks. Traditional Korean meals are mixed with American breakfast items, and the teas come from several countries around the world. Green tea, for example, originated from China. Coffee has its roots in Ethiopia. But good foods and drinks are universally celebrated. As stores and restaurants like Super Cow Win and All About Cha become more commonplace on an organizational level throughout the United States, food fusion is reshaping American culture. The real allure of food fusion and of food in general, however, is its ability to unite people and families of all races and cultures on an individual level. Take Hannah Jordan, a missionary kid raised in South Korea and the Philippines.
And so I spent 6 years in South Korea and 11 years in the Philippines, and I've now spent 3 years in Oklahoma. Because I grew up overseas, I love Asian food, probably more than American food, and so a lot of what I cook includes rice and stir-frying vegetables and a lot of the different things that I grew up eating, because the majority of the food, even at home, that I grew up eating was either fusion Asian or American with Asian influences into it.
Like when my family eats chili, we eat chili over like white rice and with tortilla chips. So it's kind of like Frito chili pie, but ours has rice in it and it's tortilla chips, not corn chips. Another thing that's pretty different is my family, we don't use ground beef in anything except tacos and hamburgers, because when my parents lived in Korea, it was really expensive to get ground beef, and so instead they got ground chicken. I cook our fried rice in bacon grease, which that is very much fusion, because in Asia, they don't really do bacon grease very often. They normally put like Chinese ham. In the Philippines, they put Chinese ham in it, which is a little bit, it's similar to bacon, but it's still more like ham than it is like bacon. And so my family, we really like bacon, and so that's why we do it in there. And we just kind of cook everything in bacon grease, within reason, because obviously it's not the best for you, but it does taste really good. And for the most part, I don't really do anything that's like too crazy. Most of it has like an American twist on it, bacon, which is something that most people like. And so I don't necessarily think it's like become like my identity, because obviously like a lot of people can cook. Most of it's because I just enjoy doing it, and it's like a really good stress reliever for me.
Food fusion also creates a new family culture, as in the case of the Drapers.
My name is Sarah Draper, and I'm from Pakistan, but now I'm a U.S. citizen.
And I'm Stephen Draper, and originally from Italy, but pretty much America.
He has always loved Pakistani food, and I cook it at home, and no matter where we go, whether we lived in Baltimore or here, his liking has never changed, but but we have, because we live in America, so we have made some adjustments, because Pakistani food can be very spicy, so I have to make it very mild for him because he can't handle too much spice. And then, you know, we just use some American equipments to like crock pot to cook food, and I don't have to stand up as much. But how it has changed, I think it has made it more stronger than
We've been cooking for each other since we met. That was one of the first things, was when we were already kind of seeing each other and getting to know one another, like, but still hadn't officially started like dating. And we never did. We very old-fashioned courtship. But I think you were the first one to cook something for me. We've also made up a bunch of dishes and how we do, as we've just gotten to know each other, and also in just both being creative people, we both love cooking. So what we're cooking tonight, for instance, is just a traditional Pakistani dish called chicken kadai, but even just how we cook it in a crock pot, and we've also changed up some of the spices a little bit.
added some American ingredients.
Added American, so we've changed it, made it our own. I mean, a lot of our marriage bleeds over into our cooking, and that's something that we've made a big part of our life. We show kindness to each other and love through our cooking, and she'll.
I have made him, just omelette with the. I'll add a little bit cumin in it and a little bit chili powder, and he loves it.
Like a Pakistani omelet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's part of who we are. We always went in being a mixed couple, and knowing that was going to be our goal, was to be a true mixture of each other. That's how we invite couples over, and the first dish we always do is a Pakistani dish, because it's part of sharing who we are, who Sarah is. Even being an outsider and American, I've accepted and embraced that. And but with Seth, like, we've been feeding him both cultures' food, and sometimes even
he loves
a mixture.
It. And that's our desire, that to give the best of both worlds to him. You know, the best of both cultures' values to our son, so that he can grow up and he can proudly say that I am Pakistani American or American Pakistani.
Yep.
For the Benito family, food fusion, and food in general, is a way of life.
I was born in Texas. My family grew up I grew up with my family in Oklahoma, and then about 25 years ago, I went to work on the mission field on the Texas-Mexico border. Met my husband at seminary, who was studying there. He was here from Peru, and when he graduated, we moved back to Oklahoma to pastor a Hispanic congregation. Well, I grew up in a house that had a lot of really healthy food. We always had a big garden, and my mom liked to make our own bread and grind our own wheat and eat our own vegetables, and so that was deeply ingrained in me. Ingrained, get it? And then whenever we went to Peru, it was starch upon starch upon starch, and so I like to incorporate a lot more healthy food and with my Peruvian, and then I've learned little tricks for flavors and stuff from my Mexican friends, and so everything kind of, I just get it to the point where we all like to eat it, and I don't feel guilty about serving it to them.
I just worked with what was over in the kitchen, right? And there was all sorts of ingredients from all over the world. So that was just fun. It was like a playground to me. And then I wanted to learn some dishes to cook for myself when I came up here. And so she taught me how to make ají de gallina. And that's like my first real dish that I learned how to make.
For my family growing up, food is how we communicated love. Food was always communication for us. And it was very welcoming for me. It was my way to feel accepted. But then also when I started working in the ministry, you know, obviously your best relationships are formed around the kitchen table. You can talk to people sitting in hard cold chairs, but when you put a plate of food in front of them, they open up in a whole different way. So it's been good for my kids. It's been good for our ministry and for our friendships.
But I'd say in another way, food is a way to like bridge cultures, because it's kind of universal in the sense that, you know, if it tastes good, then people like it and you can talk over food and stuff. And for me, as the scrawny white kid, in a Mexican church, I wasn't too white all the time, but it was a way for me to prove that I could hold my ground with everyone else by eating really spicy food, and that's kind of how I came to like spicy food. So I mean, food just it translates. You don't need to speak a certain language to enjoy different kinds of food.
I'm one of those people that I don't like to be locked into one box. I mean, I grew up a mixture of regular old white girl. We've got Native American blood. I identify strongly with my Irish roots, my Cherokee roots. To me, cultures have always just been so significant. And being part of the body of Christ has also everybody's part of our family. It doesn't matter where they're from. And then whenever I married my husband and we began working with people from Central America and South America and all over Mexico, and now we have people from the United States, north, south, east, west, it removes all those barriers. So I like living a multicultural life, and that just is reflected in my food.
From markets to cafes, from one family's generation to the next, and from one culture to 1,000 others, food can inspire creativity, build relationships, and expand horizons. Clearly, food is more than flavor.